I was surprised. Arnold Schwarzenegger sat down. I scared him. He literally went from being a frantic, hysterical adolescent to shrinking away like an injured child.
Every show I do, my mindset is to win. I'm not going there to compete and play games. I'm trying to win everything I do.
The winner of the 2008 Mr. Olympia.
I want to talk to you about the center, your center, your purpose. One question that I always ask myself, even I would always ask myself, is your purpose. What's your purpose for living? Do you know your purpose? What you're created to do? Do you know what that is? A lot of people live their entire lives not knowing. An entire lifetime not being happy because they feel as though they're not fulfilling their purpose. One time in my life I felt that. What was my purpose?
Smile. Smile is not an official pose, Gunter.
At that point in time, I was still trying to kill myself. I mean, I was very dedicated to trying to take my life, you know. I mean, the first time I tried to kill myself, and I'm not talking about like thoughts, I'm talking act. You know, first time I acted and ended up in the hospital, I was 12 years old. I did certain acts trying to take my life, you know, like speeding, driving at 190 miles an hour. It's not that I'm that big of a speed demon. I just didn't care, and I just didn't want to be here. So when I look at that, you know, I'm just like, wow, man, I wish I could just go back and tell that kid, just, man, enjoy yourself.
What I was really good at was when I walked through that gym door, I could flip a switch. Because when I went to the gym, I had a mission. One time I was like, 18 years old. And so when I went and stepped inside the gym, I flipped that switch, and it was a war. That's how I approached it, you know. It's me versus the weights. 100 pounds is always 100 pounds. No matter what kind of day you're having, the 100 pounds is always going to shoot you straight. It's always the same. No matter where in the world you're at, it's still 100 pounds. I put myself in that mental state where no one's going to beat me. Say it's gonna be you, you're in the gym, prove it. You look at all the top grade bodybuilders, they all train with high intensity, they train heavy. I mean, Jay trained heavy, he trained intense, Ronnie did it, Dorian did it, Vianney did it, and as it burns harder than me, the more it burns, the madder I would get, and I'll just keep going. To me, it was like a war against the weights. You know, is this weight gonna beat me, or am I gonna beat the weights?
I just
just want to give a shout out to this little kid. He's 8 years old, and he at home laying on the floor in the living room watching Conan the Barbarian. And he turned around and he looked at his mama and he said, I want to be a muscle man when I grow up. And that little kid named is Cedric. Hey, I did this for you, baby.
As I turned, I could see the shadow. There was one thing on my mind, and that was Dorian Yates. And I didn't see anything on Dorian. I mean, Dorian win the Olympia and he'd disappear and show up on that Olympia stage as a nightmare. I mean, because he just kept getting bigger. But this time I wasn't going to buy into the hype. I was in the shadow of the shadow. I would one day become Mr. Olympia. Fortunately for me, I didn't see the shadow coming. Dorian Yates for me was the only thing that mattered. He was the guy. He was the reason I was lifting weights. He was getting me out of bed every day, trying to dethrone the champion. Without Dorian Yates, there's no Sean Ray. Dorian was a shadow to all of us. He stopped all of us every time we saw him in September. We could change the name from the shadow to the nightmare because that's what he was for all of us. He was a nightmare.
I was so immersed in it, like a tunnel vision, that I literally did nothing else. I thought about nothing else. I was scared to relax, man, because if I relaxed a little bit and enjoyed it, maybe I'd just lose it, you know? So I want to stay isolated, stay in UK, stay in Birmingham, like where my gym was, and just keep my head down and go to the gym and train and come home and eat and sleep, and just that whole routine, which is like a training camp, which people might do for 2 or 3 months before a contest. I took that approach year round. Nobody understood it. What the hell are you doing, and why are you eating like a robot every 2.5 and 3 hours? If you're single and you've got all the distractions, parties, girls, and you know, that pulls you out of your training mode.
I never was the most genetically gifted guy on that Olympia stage, but I trained my ass off, and I knew how to diet, and I was always on track with everything. I mean, everything was structured. I lived in a fucking box in order to be the best, meaning I had no outside. People would call me with their problems, I'd hang up on them. Like, the phone were off, don't bother me with negative shit, and I just went at it. I always tell everyone it wasn't about the body, it was about the mind. I think I tortured myself, to be honest. I lived a very structured lifestyle.